Welcome to the Bambanani series. Every child has a right to quality education, and teaching inclusively can contribute to achieving that goal. This series of videos illustrates how teachers are teaching inclusively in South African classrooms. The videos focus on teaching numeracy and literacy in the foundation and intermediate phases. To support participation and learning by all learners, the teachers in the clips differentiate their teaching methodologies, content and assessment strategies, and classroom environment. Let's join hands to teach every child.
I'm Miss Eva. I'm the grade 6 English teacher. Good morning, grade 6E.
Good morning, Miss Eva.
Thank you. We spoke a bit about different structures of poems and just jogged their memory a bit about what they know on poetry, but really to help them to go on with, writing their own poem. What is it that you know about poetry? Okay, we have discussed poetry before. There are certain things we've spoken about before, but I want to re-jog your memory. Ayanda. Yes, it has rhyme.
Poetry has stanzas.
Stanzas, yes.
Poetry could be a feeling or a dream.
That's absolutely amazing. Do you remember what kinds of poems I spoke about a little while ago?
We learned about a haiku.
A haiku,
Shakespearean.
a Shakespearean, and sonnet. Okay, those are poems that have certain structures, okay? But today, we're gonna do some more free verse poem. We are going to create our own structure. We're going to be able to be creative, and we've already had some practice with this. Grade 6E, I want us all to close our eyes. I brought a friend. His name is Eddie, and you can open up. So what I'm going to get us to do, so we're going to describe Eddie. I'm going to bring him around. You guys can also feel him. And then I'm going to put some categories on the board for you to describe him with.
He's pitiful and kind.
Kind.
His shape's a bit round.
Round. You guys just came up with a multitude of words in this amount of time, okay? And if you had to write a nice sentence, you could put 3 or 4 of those words into a sentence and make a really strong and juicy sentence.
Miss Eva taught a wonderful lesson all about poetry, and she started off the lesson by asking the learners to access their imaginations and talk a little bit about describing certain things that she had on her table. So she had some nature items, she had a little elephant, and the learners worked on describing these things using very rich descriptive words.
I asked my learners to bring in natural objects from home so that they could have the inspiration with them. All the senses could be jogged. I played a nature music, and as a class all closed our eyes and just described what our object was like and what it was like picking the object and things like that. Imagine you are in a beautiful forest with lots of plants, lots of birds. It's colorful, it's fresh. I want you to be feeling your object. Think about when you went and you picked it in your garden. Think about the feeling that you had.
I really found that these concrete objects were able to inspire the learners' imaginations, and it was a great way to provide a stimulus for descriptive writing. She encouraged learners to notice the characteristics of each item, and through an exploration of the senses, it supports them to identify aspects to include in their poetry. When all the learners had their nature item in front of them, what Miss Eva did was she asked a stronger learner to come up to the front of the class and help the class create a word bank. And we find that this word bank can really support weaker learners if they are struggling to know what descriptive word to use, or even just how to spell it correctly.
one person that feels confident to write quickly, but is also kind of confident that they're going to spell well. Katara. Okay. All right, Katara. Let's do as many as we can, as many descriptive words as we can, describing the plants or your little friend. Cynthia?
Colorful.
Colorful. Buntle.
White.
White. After they had the word bank, just to let them for 10 minutes use their creative juices and the words they've seen on the board and heard to be able to create their own poem. We are going to form our own free verse poem, but I'm only giving you 10 minutes, okay? Try to make it at least 3 stanzas, but if you'd like to make it a bit more, you can, okay? But I would like you to do your rough draft now, okay? Just make your poem how you'd like it. Be creative. Use these words here that we've put on for you. Basically, I just went around the class checking that people were okay, you know, if they asked any questions, if they wanted me to look at their poem, because they knew that they were going to be reading the poem out. So they wanted to feel confident that their poem was okay to read to the rest of the class. Would 2 people be willing to read their poem to the class?
Lovely, light, luscious lily. Here I am, not much to say, walking through my garden. Then suddenly, hey, it looks so yummy. I could just eat it. Oh, there's a bee. So I yell, beat it.
Nicholas the snail, as green as grass and has so much class and sass. Nicholas the snail, as quiet as the mouse and in the back garden of the house.
Right at the end of the lesson, Miss Eva asked a few learners to share their poems with the rest of the class. And I found this to be really effective because it actually provides support for learners who are less clear of the expected outcomes.
Did you notice that in Temba's poem, he used feature and creature, the rhyming? Do you see that? And that's really something powerful in a poem. Sometimes poems don't rhyme, and that's also okay. But I loved how it rhymed like that. There's gonna have to be a little bit of homework. It's gonna just enhance your poem. I want you to either be able to go and put another stanza on, or you can go and put extra alliteration, maybe another simile. If you didn't do alliteration or you didn't do simile, now's your opportunity. With a differentiated homework, it's nice because it's not a prerequisite that they have to bring in 5 extra stanzas. It was just giving them an opportunity to better what they had already done.
There were many different ways in which learners could do their homework in a way that was appropriate to them.
I get a little bit passionate when it comes to poetry. I love the fact that the learners are able to just link in with their own creativity, be able to imagine things. I love the fact that they feel confident after a lesson like this in knowing that they can actually write a poem and that there's no limit.